All right, we're putting in the injection pump. This is the, what is this called?
It's like an interface ring.
The interface ring. And apparently this just slips over here. Yeah, I have to make all these videos one-handed, so half of it's not in there. It's not in the videos, you know?
Yeah.
You just see it when it's done.
24 degrees before top dead center.
Oh yeah, and show them the mark on the, how we lined up that mark. My plan is to make a website, just called like how to rebuild, or you know, rebuild om617 or something.
There we go. So there's a mark. Kind of hard to see the mark in there, but there's a little mark.
When we installed the injection pump, that shows the timing mark that was lined up on the injection pump. Yeah, I'll make a website and then just put links to all the YouTube videos with descriptions of each one. Yeah. Because this stuff isn't out there. There's no videos on this full process.
Yeah.
On the internet.
Not for the whole engine.
And then just make it, you know, the website will just be an index for what video shows what. All right. No RTV. The field service manual specifically says no RTV anywhere where there's oiling. It's like you can see the red anaerobic stuff I used here. It doesn't dry. So if it gets into the oil, it can flush through the system. All right, so that's lined up. Oh, I'm gonna need the bracket and everything, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
Not to, you don't have to, it's just there for support after.
Oh, I just turned it.
Oh, God.
No, I didn't. All right.
Yep, perfect. Got the bolts?
Well, it's not slid in there. Oh, look, they had a mark from the factory
Yeah.
of where the timing.
Yeah, that's where they do that.
Okay, so it's probably gonna have to come back and then maybe turn a little.
There you go.
There we go.
So yeah. And then
Beautiful. Now, are you going to be able to?
There we go. Now,
Yeah.
you want to hold that and I'll get the.
Sure.
You got to go, don't you?
No, that's okay. I mean, approximately 2 hours.
Got it.
We're good. Yep.
All right. Where are those bolts?
I helped a buddy of mine take apart a dash in his Silverado. He had a mouse crawl up in the airbox and die, and then it got into the heater box.
What?
Well, like, you know, you turned on the fan, and like it was in the fan, and then I guess like, anyways, we were watching this YouTube video. The guy was just very matter of fact. He's like, the fewer bolts and screws you remove, the fewer you're gonna have left over. That's a very, very wise man right there.
There's two that are snug. So this one, oh cool. Yeah, in the car, this one would be impossible.
Oh, it's all possible.
it is possible. The worst one in the car is actually the rear one.
Here's the one, if you can see over the top here, that one would be kind of tricky in the car. You can see right down in there.
Yeah, he's coming up with the back with a U-joint.
Yeah, no, the trickiest one in the car was the one back by the oil filter, because you have to pull the oil filter to get to it if you don't have the special tools.
All right, how's that going on there? Come on.
This will be your first YouTube video with both hands in the picture.
For real. Oh, there we go.
He's a dirty, dirty boy.
So you guys should introduce yourselves to the camera because tons of people have been watching these.
I'm Rolf, aka Winmutt, on all the message boards.
And what's the website?
SuperTurboDiesel.com. Check it out. A lot of cool build videos.
And then Corey sent me the manual that had the correct setup for the, what was it? The intermediate shaft sprocket. And you drove down from where?
We came down from Chattanooga.
Chattanooga?
Yeah.
And you're 11 minutes away.
Next door neighbors, basically.
Cool. So we got that done. What are these for?
Extra.
these must be
Mounting
for
bracket
that.
probably would be my guess.
So there's two that go right here.
So that's got to be that
Yep,
guy.
there and there for the on the bracket, and then one that goes straight in.
Aha! There you go. There we go, Corey. These are. So what do we got here? That's the fuel. What do you call that? Fuel pump.
This is garbage.
That's the garbage.
It's not garbage.
Look at that. Look at that wear on there.
Yeah, it's garbage.
You see that?
Buy a new one.
Okay.
There's a modern pump, and these leak really bad.
Yeah.
So
Change that
The
one.
modern manual pumps.
That's what we're looking for right there.
that is it.
That's it. I should probably clean that up. But this will temporarily just stabilize it. Oh, and there's a return spring.
Yes, and the
Yeah.
return spring goes on right on the bottom right here.
Okay. So we'll just stabilize it here. Aha. Like that, huh?
Yep. Perfect.
All right. What I'm doing now, I've got the bracket on here. I just cleaned it up. Everything's just loose right now. And then I've got this return spring connected. That just keeps, I guess this is the throttle arm. Yeah, there we go. Now, I think this is the idle screw adjustment. So Mercedes says in the manual, they say that should be set. So I'm going to go back and read about how to make sure that's set right. What I'm doing now is putting on the vacuum control valve, which they do not make anymore. This is the original one that came off the working car. But putting a little anti-seize on the bolts because that's a steel bolt going into an aluminum housing. And this guy fits right there next to the Alda. And put that on there. But aluminum can be a real pain to work with if you make a mistake, torquing a bolt, do anything a little too tight or force anything, it'll just screw up the threads. So let's get this guy in here. And I can already feel that's a little sticky. Like I said, it's steel going into aluminum. So I'm going to just wiggle it, not put any torque on it, and let the anti-seize kind of, there it goes. There it goes. All right, that's getting a little tough to turn. It should not. So I'm just going to check out these threads, even with the anti-seize on there. So I'm going to check out these threads, and I'll record again once I get this on here. Run a tap down this hole because something's a little not right with that hole. The bolt wants to go in. You can see the anti-seize how it's. But I felt a little bit of metal starting to come off on the threads. So I'm going to tap that and make sure those threads are clean. Okay, I tapped out that hole with a M6 by 1 metric tap. And it turns out that the threads just were not all the way, it was only like partially threaded. That's why it was getting difficult to turn the nut. And so what Bosch must have actually replaced this part right here because, on the pump that I sent them, it certainly was threaded. So during the rebuild or the restore of the pump, which was done by Bosch, they must have just grabbed another part off the shelf. I guess they had parts, and this one wasn't fully threaded, so I just ran the tap down there and threaded it, and it went in just as easy as this one's going in. Loosen this up a little bit. I know this is boring, watching me put in bolts. But aluminum, you got to be careful with aluminum because stuff like that happens. And I mean, you put 10 pounds of torque in the wrong spot, 10, 20 pounds of torque, and whoops, and it ruins it. You strip it out. So you got to be careful with it. There you go. See, now it goes in there fine now. And all those brackets do is just hold that piece in place. That's all they do. And this connects right back there. Let's see if I can push it on here. These little, there you go. Inside there, you can't really see it right here, but there's a little snap ring, and it's a little ball socket. And it's good to, I get a little syringe and put a drop of transmission fluid in there so it lubricates things. Again, I can't do this with one hand, but you get the idea. Put a little drop of transmission fluid on the ball there, and I'll put one inside there too. And transmission fluid, because it doesn't attract dust as easy if you don't want to use grease or something like that. And you can just put it on all the little ball sockets on your, there's like probably 7 or 8 on your fuel, on your linkage. To get those little ball sockets together, just get some channel locks and adjust them to where it's about, it levels out and at the size of whatever the ball is and socket to the back side, see, like that. And you just squeeze a little bit and it'll pop right on there. And then see, the linkage is now on that ball socket. And there's another one. We'll see. Probably should have put that on before I put the pump on. But there's one right there. So I'll go ahead and clip that one on. There we go. So again, let me blow these out a little bit. Okay, and all I'm going to do, wish the light would turn on this thing. There we go. I'm just going to put a little drop of there we go. Sorry, a little drop of transmission fluid down in there, and a little drop down in there. That'll keep everything nice and lubricated. And then this guy, let's see, connects right down there. And it comes up right here and connects to the linkage, your accelerator linkage. So I'm going to stop recording so I can clip that on there because, like I said, I can't do it with one hand. Okay, so now that I've got just the 3 little linkages, so this is to the VCV valve, goes down here to the, I guess this is the throttle linkage, which hits a little pin. Here, let me come over here. There we go. So here's your idle or your throttle stop. See, there's a little pin down there. And here is the throttle linkage that comes from the engine. So see how that moves? And that controls the vacuum. This connects to your transmission. Come over here. So as you increase the throttle, it regulates the vacuum pressure to the transmission. See how that works? And this can be adjusted, I guess that's the idle circuit or the idle stop. I betcha they'll explain it right here. And let's see what we got over here. There's an exploded view. So none of the throttle linkage is there's the VCV valve that we just installed. But none of the throttle linkages are shown here. Throttle control. There we go. Let's get to this section. Wow, look at that. That comes out of the firewall and goes through all this stuff to control the throttle. That's on a 123. Mine's actually a 116. Here's an example of a 116. So let's just actually go look at it under the hood of a 116 that's already put together. So here's what we're working with. Here's the injection pump. We just put the VCV valve on, and there's the idle stop. And here we go. Here's the vacuum line that splits off. This one goes to the transmission. And there we go. So this, the one that we installed behind the injection pump, the leakage, actually, see when you step on the gas pedal, which is right there, pulls that down, twists this arm, which then twists this arm up here, which pulls the transmission. I guess this is a transmission kick down lever. I mean, this is crazy complicated, but look at all the adjustments you have for everything. There's one pivot, one goes up here, pivots again, 2 turns this shaft, which pulls this, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so there's 7 ball pivots or ball sockets. That's awesome. I love it. I was looking for earlier. So this is the back side of the injection pump. There is that, turn on the light. There's the throttle stop. Let's see, number 3. Idle speed stop. So you can adjust the idle speed with this. As you crank it down, it probably pushes the throttle level a little bit. There's that bracket that we then connected to the back of the VCV valve. Full load stop on vacuum control valve is number 6. Okay. So number 6 is a full load stop. Actuating lever for vacuum control valve. Yep, we know what that is. 5 and 4. Connecting rod, adjustable ball head. Full load stop is 2. That's interesting. I don't see 2 on here. But we have a stop here and an idle here. I don't know why I'm going off on this tangent, but so we said there's a stop here. See, bam. See how it hits the stop? That's full. And the other stop is, we showed that, how it hits down there. And also, we have this, that's a stop. You know what? That's number 2, full throttle stop. That's what they didn't label in the service manual. How that comes up and bam, no more throttle. You can't go more than that. And it looks like Bosch actually marked that and torqued it, so meaning don't undo this. It's already been set to factory. Let's see, I bet that's what that is too. Yep. Full load stop, and they just didn't. Oh yeah, they did. Number 2 right there. I just didn't see it before. So that's what I just hooked up. Field service manual 30.8-300. Interesting thing that I learned, this is the injection pump section of the field service manual, is there's several different versions of the MW pump. See MW because it has MW in the, so there was a 123 chassis starting, let's see, 80, 81. But in the 116 USA model, there's a 78 and 79, and there's an 80. That was the only years for the diesel. But the 78, 79, the identification has a green type rating plate, and the 80 doesn't. Now, this engine came out of a 1980. However, the injection pump has that green type plate. There's the date. That's the Bosch. I guess that's a part number. Yeah. RW375 2200 MW22. Let's see what that is here. RW375 2200 MW22. Here we go. That is a 79. So I guess even though the car is an 80, they must have built it in like December of 79. And so it got the 79 injection pump. The 80 pump also has the same number, or you could have MW28. Now they have a little 2 right there. What does that footnote mean? Here we go. Entering production starting February of 1980. Cool. So my car must have been, you know, January of 1980. That's just an interesting little fact. So I just wanted to point that out. Let's go look at the injectors that I have to rebuild. All right, I'll post a video. Let me get some light turned on in here. I'll post a video showing what these injectors looked like before. There's an old 300D. I was driving, front grille, I was driving down Georgia 400 behind, I don't know, I was like a lane over and behind a big dump truck, and this rock, like that big, flew up and bashed right through the grill. I didn't see it. I heard a thump, and I got home and looked, and the rock was wedged like in the auxiliary fan. And anyway, that's crazy. Didn't knock out the AC condenser though, so that was exciting. So remember in another video, and I'll post a picture, the injectors, these are the injectors, and they looked awful. They were, you know, there was surface rust, and so I took them over to Will's, I think it's a Will's machine shop, and down the road, and for $30, he bead blasted them. And here's the best part though. So that look, I mean, that's brand new looking. I better spray some oil on there. Starting to rust is starting to come back a little, but he also soaked all the internal parts in this new solvent that he's been trying. Look at that. That's amazing how clean it got. Let's see, there's supposed to be some more parts in here. Where are they? Uh-oh. Oh, there they are. There's the spring. Look at that. It looks brand new. And there's the one of the spacers that was in there. It looks brand new. There's the spring. There's a spacer. Here's the little, I forgot what you call that. And then there's this piece. But they're dirty and they're rusty. And so that's crazy. So these injectors, definitely rebuildable. Again, I'm going to have to, you know, lap the surface. I have some real fine grit sandpaper here and a bunch of different spacers. Use spacers to set, you know, there's 0.05, 0.10, there's a 1.5, there's a 0.9, 1.20, 1.80, and use those to set the pop pressure. Basically, oh, here's one, I already got one on here. You put the injector on there, here's a pickle jar. I open it up just so it sprays into the pickle jar, and you pump this up, and you want the injector to pop at like 1950 psi, somewhere right around here. And it's amazing how precise you can get it. You can balance them where they all do that at the same time. So that's what's up next. I've ordered some Monarch injectors. The Bosch injector nozzles, like they used to make in Germany, they don't make them in Germany anymore. Here's the originals. But you can see these are, you know, there's a lot of wear on that. Yeah, it's a little sticky. That's supposed to fall back down under its own weight. when you pull it out halfway. I mean, it wants to. There we go. But these are the originals, but the ones now are made in India. But, what's up, buddy? What are you doing? What are you up to? Is there something over there? What are you looking for? That's weird. He just came out here and started sniffing in that corner. But the ones, the Monarch injectors are made in Germany still. Bosio, you can't, I don't know if you can get those anymore. But I have Monarchs in this car. And they're great. Haven't had a single issue. Car runs great. So I've got some Monarchs that I actually found on eBay. Mercedes Source is the distributor for them here in the U.S. and they're out of stock. And so I ordered a set off of eBay, and they're shipping from Germany. And the guy had good reviews, and he sold like 60 sets. So anyway, these injectors cleaned up and amazing, even the internal parts. So cool, that saves me, you know, a new injector is like 60, 65 bucks, and it comes with the Indian Bosch nozzle. So I cleaned these up for 30 bucks, and I paid $170 for the Monarch nozzles. So what, 200 bucks versus I'd be somewhere around 350, 360 if I ordered brand new ones from Bosch with the Bosch nozzles. So came out good on that, reusing the old parts. It's always best to reuse these old original Mercedes parts when you can. So that'll be the next video, how to pop test and rebuild injectors. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Big shout out to Corey and Rolf for coming by today. Rolf is the owner of superturbodiesel.com. Really cool guys, helped me set up the injection pump timing and get that installed. So it's good to meet you guys, and see you guys next video.